The first thing you should know about my friend Andrew is that this holiday season I am making a donation in his name to the Human Fund. He hates all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas. Watley's still Jewish. He's put a sawbuck on Captain Nemo in the third at Belmont, and I'm working hard to help him become a submarine captain. Meanwhile, I've got Denim Vest checking me out, but we can't all be reading the classics, Professor Highbrow. Although he's always siding with management, I find his belief system fascinating, and Andrew always looks good in the back booth. The next thing you should know about Andrew is that you might not know what to look at him, but he can run really, really fast. He has a standard fake phone number, and he has spent a lot of time and eaten a lot of crap to get to where he is today. He also has a very high strength-to-weight ratio and a certain understated stupidity. Kinda makes you wonder what it was all for, but I think Andrew could be a philanthropist. A kick-ass philanthropist. Happy Festivus, Georgie and Andrew.
The first thing you should know about my friend Mrs. Filholm is that she's like a buttered cat. No matter how you drop her, she always lands right side up. A couple of nights ago, Delaney and I had the privilege of meeting all of Mrs. Filholm's new friends from the Denver comedy scene. As you can imagine, it's an eclectic bunch ranging from young to old and normal-ish to batshit crazy, but the whole group is united in their love and support of Mrs. Filholm. The next thing you should know is that the Denver comics were only one group of people I've seen come out to support Mrs. Filholm in the last couple of weeks. She's got former colleagues, acquaintances, neighbors, childhood friends, and relatives who have all come out of the woodwork to support her. Despite her quirks, Mrs. Filholm is beloved by most everyone who meets her. Welcome to Half My Age, a weekly show in which a 25-year-old adult and a 50-year-old child help each other make sense of the world.
I love that it's despite my quirks. You think those aren't very lovable quirks, do you?
Good
Also,
Lord,
I've
Mrs.
never
Filholm.
heard the
I just wrote-
expression buttered cat. I know, it made me cry. I was trying not to be sappy. Before you said that, I thought I was going to be crying when I turned my mic back on, and I know you don't like that, so I was trying to be funny. I've never heard the expression buttered cat.
I was, Delaney brought it up yesterday. There's a Wikipedia page on it. We'll put it in show notes. It's called the buttered cat paradox.
No.
And the idea is that if you take a piece of buttered toast and tie it to the back of a cat and you push it off a building,
right?
Which side's going to land?
I know it's Murphy's Law versus... Okay, I've heard that construct before, Murphy's Law versus cat landing on its feet, but that's different than a buttered cat.
It's literally called the buttered cat
I know, but I've never
paradox.
heard it called that, and I like it a lot better. I like them both. I like the idea of a cat with a buttered toast tied to his back. It's pretty cute.
And a cat that's
been buttered. I like them both. Those are both awesome images. Those are both perfect images. I have one Christmas follow-up that relates to your cold open, which was so nice that it almost made me...
It's got to be, I think, in almost 50 episodes, that's the first nice one I've done.
That's not true. You always say you're nice. I love that you think you're meaner to me than you are. Yeah, wasn't that something, meeting all those... Yeah, thanks for that. That was nice. It was cool. I wonder which ones you think are batshit crazy.
Literally every single one of them.
Not.
There's like two up there who seem like they might pass as a normal.
But I mean, did you meet them in person?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. A lot of them pass way more for normal than you think because they're playing, including me, playing a little character up there. I wasn't playing a character so much at that night because I wasn't doing naughty jokes. But, okay, fine, whatever. I don't think, they are not. I, in fact, submit that people like that who are struggling through the darkness of life in that way are less batshit crazy than the normies who keep it all hidden down and just come out with either kinks or violence against other people. So I don't think they're batshit crazy. The ones I invited to my show are not. Well, okay.
There was a common theme, and it may have been a request you made to them, which is, if you have teenage material, talk about teenage stuff.
Yes, that was absolutely the request.
And it seems like the comics in particular have much more tortured teenage years than most people.
Didn't we hear some stories?
Boy,
some of those guys wrote new material for my show, so I hadn't heard it. And some of that, I know it. And some of that I heard was stories of their teenage years that sobers me and makes me realize I'm glad they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That whole show to me was about that. It was about, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. There are worse things young people could be doing than finding the funny and turning their tragedy into jokes. I have lost too many young people, and it brings me joy to hang out with those young people who frickin' choose life. And there were about 10 other comics at that show who weren't on the bill because you couldn't fit everybody. They just came to support me, which was amazing. And this is about the last thing I want to say about it, and it ties into Christmas because it brought me to, and we may have even discussed it here before, I talk about it a lot in my life, Luke 2:19 in the Bible, Andrew.
Yeah, quote me, Mrs. Filholm.
But Mary kept these things and pondered them in her heart. And I think so many times when things seem, whatever, profound or difficult or important or dramatic, sometimes we just need to ponder before we decide what it means and before we decide to take big action. I had a great night. That was a fun night. Launching my book was great. There were perfect strangers there. It was a wonderful thing. And then I thought, I don't even know what to make of it. And the truth is, it's kind of like next. The next day I got up and wrote the emails of thanks and planned the next meetings. And I've got other shows to plan and do and just keep going. But I just thought that's about right. It's like if that was good enough for the Mother of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Just to keep them in our heart.
To ponder it. Sometimes when great, profound things happen, we try to make too much sense of them. And I mean everything in the world. We try to find patterns. We try to do that magical operating system. We try to make sense of it. We try not to act because Mercury's in retrograde and that makes sense. Whatever. We try to act as though we can make sense of more things than we probably can, I guess. And that brings me right back to that was my favorite part of the Christmas story, even as a child. What do you think about that?
Seems like something to noodle on for the next week.
All right. Ponder it in your heart. Merry Christmas. Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus to you. What kind of plans you got going?
I don't know. What should we do?
The weather outside is so miserable. I can't even bring myself to go buy an aluminum pole and put it up outside.
Well, it's not Festivus yet, but I don't know when this episode's coming out. It might be. I watched it last night to write that cold open. It was pretty fun. I mean, and I could have put in, I don't even think I got Denim Vest in there. I mean, it is.
I don't even think I put in Denim Vest.
So funny. That episode, oh my.
I wonder how many people in the world will recognize half of those.
I know, I do too. I wonder.
Half of those quotes and
I tell you, when I just
references.
First looked up like best Seinfeld or best Festivus quotes, I tell you there is a lot of look up Festivus. I mean, just Google Festivus. There's a lot of people who are real keen to celebrate Festivus and make mugs and merch and stuff that has lines. I think there's a big Festivus culture in the world. I don't know that our listeners are part of that.
We'll find out.
Maybe they should be now, even if they're not, because it really is such a perfect. Gosh, that episode. You know what else is cool about it? The way it zips along. I mean, it's obvious. Like they cram all of that into 22 minutes. Yeah. But I mean, and you hear it in the dialogue right away. I mean, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Here we are. The premise is set up. It's so good. So good. So good. And the way that, the way that it all comes together, one of the sort of vehicles of that is Lane's submarine captain card. She's got her atomic sub card, and she has eaten 22 subs. And she's eaten a lot of crap to get to where she is today. And then she gives it to Denim Vest fake number. And then she calls her, remember that? And then it goes down that rabbit. Oh, my God.
Talk about
man. Okay.
A stories, B stories, C stories.
Yep.
There's so much going on.
Yep.
And I can't believe you just said it's 22 minutes long. That is insane. That is an awful lot of stuff to keep track of and to follow for 22 minutes.
4 totally different story threads. I know it's awesome. It's masterful.
Surprising in this age of fast-paced television that happened when it did. That seems like an awful lot for a 90s show. If you look at like Everybody Loves Raymond, that is an exceptionally slow show.
Does it show to you that
almost
that
nothing happens?
Oh, funny.
And I feel like I don't know.
That show feels slow. Does Raymond feel slow now? I haven't seen it in a while. Specifically that show, have you watched it lately?
I haven't watched it recently.
Interesting, because that's the same era, isn't it? I'll bet it. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Older things seem slower and more. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. The writing is just so boom, boom, boom. It's just efficient more than it's action-y.
Right, it's
Seinfeld
not action-y.
was a show about nothing, right? But the writing, it just, well, whatever. I mean, I'm in my head about
For a show about nothing, so much goes on. So much happens.
Exactly right. Okay, anything else we shouldn't keep talking about?
We should talk about follow-up. I want to ask you about your robot vacuum.
Okay.
Did you buy one?
Got it.
Got it?
Yes.
Do you love it?
I do love it. Wait, I just got an alert on my phone. It might be. Okay, I have to ask you about your name, too. Its name is DJ Roomba.
Nice.
Because of Tom Haverford. Why did you name yours Ferdinand?
It's a name I wanted to use for a long time.
Just for a thing? It's a name you like?
It's a name I like for a inanimate object. I don't think I'd ever have a little child named
It's awfully
Ferdinand.
cute. cutesy.
Well,
That
so
you have a vacuum cleaner named Ferdinand, Andrew. I don't know how I feel about it,
a
really.
a vacuum cleaner named Ferdinand, or once you get to know it, he might let you call him Nando for short.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great name. It's
a great name.
It's really not used
like
a
you
lot
should name your kid that. Nando
United
is
States
freaking baller.
2019.
Do you know the book Ferdinand the Bull?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Maybe I do. Maybe I'm sure I've heard it.
Look it up and see if you don't recognize the cover, because I can't believe it wasn't. I cannot. Your mother actually did a good job of introducing you to lots of cool classics, and I just have a feeling that you will recognize it. Okay, I'm having an issue with my iRobot right now. It says it cannot talk. The cloud cannot talk to it, and I'm very frustrated by that, because what am I supposed to do about that?
You probably troubleshoot and make sure that your phone's connected to the same Wi-Fi your vacuum is. You might have to do it.
Oh, I handed you my phone to see if you could do that, and you said there's nothing to be done.
Yeah.
Kinda. Mm-hmm. So
I would just wait.
Man.
It's probably internet weather. There's also, I would bet you that your walls are covered in lead paint.
Yeah, I know, but I have the thing. I have it right next to my router.
Yeah, it's not. So it's the. I think the smarts are actually in the vacuum itself, not the little dock.
Oh.
So if DJ Roomba is behind 3 layers of lead paint.
Either way, it was sitting right there when it told me that it couldn't connect to the cloud. Okay. We'll just assume this is an anomaly, and maybe I just need to turn my phone off and on again, because that's been happening a lot lately with my stupid iPhone. I'm not kidding. So I'm going to do that right now, okay?
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk about the happy parts of my Roomba. What?
DJ...
What was that?
On.
Wait, what? Wait, what is that? It's like...
I don't think it's coming from me.
I was trying to turn my phone off, and that happened. What even was that song?
I don't know.
Did you recognize it?
Uh-uh.
I didn't either. So why was it playing on my phone? It's
not
not like Brick House, one of my alarms.
That leads me to believe that this issue is not Roomba related at all. It's all your
I'm being haunted.
Phone.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave that phone off for a minute, because I have my laptop here, and it can tell me if I have a text or something urgent, because Alzheimer's care. We may have to. I am on call, but everything's fine. Okay. I love it.
Isn't it great?
I run it twice a day, as you said.
Don't you like to watch it? You just putters around.
Even better, I like to not watch it. I like to not be caring about what's happening. And then I like to be actually out and about, and I get a little alert. Hey, your Roomba's stuck on a cliff, which I find very funny verbiage. And I go, okay, stop. Or go back to base. It can't, because it's stuck. So I just go, okay, stop, turn off. So there's no problem. This is a game changer. I'm never going to have to sweep my floors again.
Isn't that nice?
Do you know how much? You've mentioned how much I sweep. I love it. I am very impressed, as you said, by how much stuff it gets.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to see my sheepskin rug as a barrier. We talked about that, so it doesn't go up on there. Although I have a little sheepskinny rug thing in the bathroom that's fake. It goes right up on there, and no problem.
Mm-hmm.
It gets stuck on my, I was going to say dining room table, but that's hilarious, because what would I call it? The only table in my house, in the little
it's
nook.
Very petite. It's like a table outside a small European cafe.
It's not that bad. I have one of those right outside in the bistro area, but it is. It's like a double-sized bistro table. Okay, so in my breakfast nook, that table has a, what would we call it? What would you call this shape? Like trumpet flute.
Yeah, like
trumpet flute. Trumpet. What's
a rounded pyramid sort of thing, like a
bell, the bell of a trumpet.
It's a bell shape. Yeah.
What's it called? Golly, see, when I lose things like that, it makes me
bell-shaped legs.
It stands on a stand that does that. It's like, it goes out. Anyway, the Roomba goes up on the brass thing there and then gets itself caught. Sometimes, not always. It also, I saw it get itself.
What's the opposite of high-centered? When the front's on something and the back's on something and the wheels don't touch.
Back-centered. Is what I call it.
Outside-centered.
When I'm out jeeping, is that what we're referring
outsideed.
to? Okay.
Instead of centered.
When I'm out
low-centered.
Rock jeeping. I don't know what we're talking about. What's that called? I think I would call it, that. Okay, and then I have seen it get stuck under my chairs. It kind of goes under there, and it's like the perfect. But I think I just have to, like, when I want to do that place, I move everything and whatever. I love it. It has absolutely been doing, like you said, like picking up stuff that the broom never got. It's awesome.
Mine's still going. Every time I run it, I still get at least a half a container full of dust and cat hair.
Well, I felt that I was finding like that there were animal hairs in there when I pulled it out and cleaned it. And I went, that's from the previous owner, because they did have dogs. And really, when I started living here, it looked spotless. And then sometimes I would clean and go, God, there's still pet
Sometimes
hair
I wonder
around.
if it's manufacturing dust and hair out of nothing. Like it's trying to ingrain itself, make us super pleased with it.
Mm-hmm. It just has a little web of spinning dust in there. No, I guarantee that's not what's happening. That is not what's happening. Well, then I realized I thought there were pet hairs in there, but then I realized I do have like a little cow skin rug, and it might just be that because they're famous for kind of being shady. So anyway, I love it so much. I love being able to control it from the app. Right now, I'm pissed because it's not attached. I'm pretty sure it'll come back to me. I love it. But I just need
I'm glad you love it. I'm also glad you bought it with my Amazon code.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
You got
now,
some
so
change.
a surprisingly large percentage of your purchase went to me, which is super nice. And now I'm looking at the world in terms of how many Roombas do I have to sell in order to buy that thing, or how many Roombas am I giving up by not doing this thing?
Okay, that's interesting because I know that you said I mean, a lot is the answer, as you know. But I wondered about this. You told me that you earned. Do you feel comfortable saying how much money you earned?
$16. I got $16 from. I think. Did you get a Black Friday deal? Did you spend $200 on your Roomba? So 16 out of 200. That's 8% of the purchase.
Pretty good.
That seems amazing.
It seems insane. Okay, so then with that in mind, there is somebody that I see on the Instagram who is a former student and appears to be. I mean, not appears to be, definitely is doing fashion blogging, outfit of the day kind of thing. And I've never paid much attention because I also don't get it. It's like, I don't see what's the uniqueness. Seems to have shit ton of followers. There's always, I just scroll by it. But today I actually, did the thing that this Instagrammer influencer says, click on bio to blip, 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 and I checked it out. And it's just one of those things. I understand that this is out there. I understand. I just haven't paid much attention to it. That is what she is doing, is that she is posting things that she buys. And then if I buy it, I'm buying it through her site, she gets a kickback. And then right at the top of one of these sites where it links to, where you can pick the outfits and see all her things, and it's all very curated and cute, says right there, the person who posted this or whatever gets some money.
Yeah, all affiliate links.
So, so obviously that's what it is. I mean, I know that's how these things work. I know that people have reached out to me even recently and said, would you like to be one of our, brand representatives? And I kind of go, no, because I don't want to be that kind of I get these Instagram, right, where it's also like, follow me and then tell all your things and tag the thing and then you're going to win a piece of coffee.
A bean. You can have one bean.
I don't know, right? But it was just interesting because I thought, okay, Andrew, you're about to start becoming a homeowner influencer. If everybody that we know, hey, listeners, could just please buy a Roomba with your link, which is in show notes, you can make $16 pretty soon. You can. That's all you can do. You just be an influencer.
Well, I was thinking about that, and I was also, we spend a little bit of money putting this podcast together with Jonah editing it, and wouldn't it be nice if that was paid for? And I don't mind recommending things that I use.
I don't either.
I don't feel like if they're not asking me to do it and they're not paying me to do it, I feel like
Wait a minute. This is actually not a bad idea because that could be that could pay for Jonah, which is what we want to do. We don't need to sponsors. We just need to post links to products we actually recommend, and then our listeners need to use that link and buy them.
Right. Every week, maybe we include five things on Amazon at the bottom of the thing.
I love this so much because we love talking about things that we love. Don't we? Space pen.
Absolutely. The space pen would be on there perennially.
Do not buy it right now, listeners. Buy it when we have a link that makes us some change.
If they're listening to this, the link will be
in there. Yeah. Then do I have to buy a space pen first or do I have to just recommend it?
You have to. No, you don't. You can just recommend it. So the way it works, for anyone else who wants to be a big influencer like me, a big influencer with my millions of fans and followers, I think it's called Amazon Associates. And you go sign up, and then it adds, when you're on the Amazon website, it adds a little bar at the top, and it says, would you like to make a link out of this thing? So if I'm looking at Roombas, there's a thing that says you want to make a link. I click it, and it just gives me one of those little short links like amz.to. whatever. And then when someone clicks on that link, it takes them to the product page that I was looking at. It takes you right to the Roomba with the funny name that we mentioned.
I almost always want to be an associate.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Amazon Associates, I would like to be, I'm your associate. I would love to introduce you
the
as
term.
associate. My associate, Andrew Bridges. That's how I should definitely introduce you.
That sounds like how you would introduce your bodyguard. This is my associate.
That would be funny. Or your secret lover. This is my associate.
Mrs. Filholm, you just said you wanted me to be your associate, or you wanted to be my associate, and then you say secret lover.
You said bodyguard, and I said or. There was there was a conjunction in there really important. I didn't say and with. Come on, I said or. I'm just saying using associate would be funny.
You're saying it's a word for all occasions.
Yes. Listen, it would be funny to introduce a juggalo as your associate, you know? It would be funny to introduce
whose name is probably also Knuckles, by the way.
Yeah, okay. And you go, you're standing there with a juggalo, and you're introducing him to your family, and you go, this is my associate, Knuckles. Come on. Golly.
In case you had forgotten, it's the iRobot Roomba 675 robot vacuum Wi-Fi connectivity. Works with Alexa. Good for pet hair, carpets, hard floors, self-charging by iRobot.
I haven't forgotten. I really do like it. I really do. Okay, the truth is, golly, I just love I don't watch it. I just leave it alone. And then I can tell the difference. I walk around barefoot in my house for sure. It's on hardwood floors, really, it's perfect. And we've been talking about that. A friend of mine said you recommended it for me, and you recommended it. That was a thoughtful recommendation because a friend of mine said it didn't work for me. You know, I just have too much crap in my house. Mm-hmm. It kept getting stuck.
It's not going to work if you got too much crap in your house. It's also not going to work if you've got an exceptionally large house or a multi-level house.
Multi-level, you get different levels. I've looked it up on Roomba.
It works.
They're happy to sell you many Roombas.
It works especially well for you and I because we have small living spaces and it's all one floor.
My DJ Roomba's battery is too low to start right now, so I think that's why I would like you to come in and look at that when you leave. Because
why would you? He was running when we left. Why would you start him now?
Andrew, what I was doing is I just turned off my phone and I went back to look at the app to see if I'm connected via cloud now, and now it's telling me it doesn't have any battery. So my point is, it's been sitting there charging for a day and a half, and it doesn't have something's wrong with my Roomba.
Huh.
I would just like you to come and look at it.
Well, this is a terrible advertisement, Mrs.
No,
Filholm.
I think it wasn't docked properly and it didn't. Okay, God, just help me troubleshoot. I'm sure it's all great. I love it. I feel like my floors are just plain cleaner. I love it. I really did. I went to the market and left it running, and then it alerted me that it was stuck on a cliff, and I just stopped it. And then when I got home, I removed it off the cliff, and then it just continued to clean. I love it. It's great.
One thing that I've discovered since we last spoke is that it'll alert you different things. And let me find my phone and read you what it alerted me to.
Do you have it on a schedule?
No, I don't. I kick it off manually. So me
too.
My vacuum, Ferdinand, it alerted me, and it said, Delaney's going to hate that I'm reading this on the air.
Why?
Because it's very embarrassing about the state of our household.
Oh.
It pops up a little thing with a checkbox on it, and it says, to-dos. Things are getting hairy. Clean Ferdinand's brushes for optimal debris pickup.
Ooh.
And it says, Ferdinand's brushes work together to pull in dust, dirt, and large debris from your carpets and hard floors. The first brush loosens it. It doesn't matter. Anyways, moral of the story is when you get, if you have a long-haired person in your household, and they tend to drop hair around the house, not even
Also
a lot.
A cat.
Ferdinand's very efficient. But anyways, it'll get twirled around the brushes like any normal vacuum.
Right.
But the best part about this Roomba that I've found so far is that if you need to clean up your brushes and de-spool them, everything just pops out of the bottom, no tools required.
That's awesome.
The brushes come right out.
Emptying it is super easy.
Yeah.
I empty it every time now because, as you said at the beginning, it's going to pick up more. That's cool. Hey, did you get the extended warranty? Did you pay for that?
I did not.
Good. I didn't either, and I almost called you, but you had told me that it was easy. I'm like, look, listen to me today, Jonah. Isn't that nice? And listeners, I've got a shushy jacket. I just kicked my mic stand. Okay, I'm sorry. And last week, I was doing something, and I actually, not last week, 2 weeks ago, I liked our episode, and I was kind of digging, and I was doing something thumpy, so I apologize, Jonah.
Do you want to restart? Do you want to...
No.
How are you, Mrs. Filholm?
No.
It's nice to see you.
I'm just saying. I'm
First
not.
thing
I'm
you should know.
Picking things. Okay. Roomba. Oh yeah, parts. You said parts were easy to find, and so that's why I did not get the extended warranty. So I did the right thing. Excellent, bully for me.
Well, and the parts, there's not that many, and they either come in a little kit or you can buy them individually. And like if your brushes wear out because your floors are made of sandpaper, it's no big deal to pop out a brush.
That's awesome to know. Because I was worried about, okay, we are going to have to just do a little troubleshooting on mine because I don't know if I'm not docking it right or what. It is funny. At the very first, really? Am I going to keep talking about this? The very first time I had it out in the wild and it was doing its thing, the way I had set up its little docking station, it knocked it under a dresser and couldn't find it. So there's...
Oh, your docking station wasn't against a wall or something?
It was against a thing that I thought was fine and it was not. Anyway, and so I'm not sure where to store it. That's the truth. I'm not sure where to put that dock. I'm not sure where to dock it. Mm-hmm. Where do you put yours?
Mine it's kind of out in the open. It's not hidden. It's just right against the wall next to my desk.
I don't love having it out in the open anywhere.
I like it.
House.
Ferdinand's part of the family. I can understand how you might only want DJ Roomba to come out during parties or something.
That's it. And you know that's what Tom Haverford did is he attached his to, it was a DJ. It would go and play music at the parties.
I'm actually really interested to know.
Oh, I'm going to put lights on it.
Other things like a Roomba that are like surprisingly large quality of life improvements or joy-making products.
Me? Too.
Right in that $100, $200 range. Because
listeners, let us know your favorites.
The amount of joy that I've had from that Roomba in a week of ownership is it's kind of it's crazy.
I know it. I know what you mean. I know, and it's one of those. And I was surprised by it myself. Yeah, and there are products like that, right? Yeah, and we talk about them throughout this podcast. We've talked about sort of like quality of life. I mean, Space Pen. It's
what does Ferris Bueller say? If you have the means, I highly recommend it.
I don't know the Ferris Bueller quote, but that's good. So yeah, well, that's my thing is that we highly recommend the Roomba, and we'll continue to talk about our small-ish, affordable-ish quality of life improvements. I have one, and we'll bring them to the podcast and we'll put it in show notes. And then you'll buy the things and with our links, and we'll pay Jonah. Yeah,
that's right. Here's the quote from Ferris Bueller for all the people who are
send it.
They're raising their arms in outrage for us not knowing the quote. And Ferris says, "It's so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up."
What's he talking about?
I think it's the Ferrari.
Of course. It's so choice. Oh, I love that. Choice. I'm going to bring that back. I'm bringing back choice. That is choice. I'm bringing it back.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. Fetch is not a thing.
Fetch is not a thing, but choice, that was a real thing, bro. In my day, my friends my age will understand it.
How old is Matthew Broderick? Are you and he
I believe he's
contemporaries?
Older than I, but pretty close, yeah. 55.
So was Ferris Bueller an important movie?
Oh, yeah.
For you?
Oh, golly, yeah. Absolutely. Was it for you?
Kind of. I mean, not... I have some friends who watched it on repeat and quote the whole thing word for word over and over again.
We all can.
But, I've seen it 5 times.
My son George had never seen it, but when I was in Chicago with him, we watched it the night before we went out and played on the town. Well, how old is he?
He was born in 1962, so he's 57. So he's quite a bit older than you.
Thank you. It's lovely. 6 years is quite a bit. Yes, that was an absolutely seminal movie in our lives. Oh, golly, absolutely.
And he's married to Sarah Jessica Parker.
I know.
I did not know that.
You
I
didn't?
just watched...
That's his whole deal.
What did we do? Failure to Launch. We just watched Failure to Launch, and she's the female lead.
Are you watching that Mandalorian? Do you have Disney Plus?
I don't have Disney Plus.
It's like letting the devil into your house, but I mean, we do it all the time. I don't care. I don't care. No, I mean, it's just going to happen. But I'm very curious about the Mandalorian in the ways... Well, a friend of mine said last night...
Are you a Star Wars person?
Okay, this is funny because that's what we were talking about. And he said that his mother, he's my age, he said his mother takes him. I said, ooh, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out. I should take George for, you know what I mean? I can go with George at Christmas time. That would be a fun thing to do. Last year I saw the Spider-Verse with George on Christmas. Last movie I've seen in the theater. So my friend was saying that his mom is taking him to see the Star Wars movie, and he's my age. I was like, that's cute. And then he said, and he said she kind of always does. Like she knows I like it, and she reaches out and says, do you want to go see the Star Wars movie? And I said, oh, that's so cute. That's like me. I would do that with my boys. He goes, yeah, but she doesn't torment me like you torment your boys. And I was like, I don't think it's torment, but I do love. Okay, I love the Star Wars as a concept. I can sit through
Star Wars,
and I can sit through a Star Wars movie and kind of dig it because listen, it's great entertainment. It's very right. They're great, but I do not understand the lore or the details, and I do find it amusing. It was funny that this guy saw through me and called it tormenting. I'm like, I would never have said that, but I do love saying to my boys.
There's a bit of a playful tease in your...
You've heard me do it, right?
I've seen you make Star Wars cupcakes for your boys to share with their friends, and there's definitely it's not all love and everything. I mean, there's a lot of love in those cupcakes.
It's all love,
but there's also a little bit of you're a little bit weird, and I suppose we're celebrating your weirdness.
Well,
maybe?
that's it. I mean, when people say, "Are you a Star Wars nerd?" I say no, but I birthed a Star Wars nerd, and I love him very much. And so, right, I mean, George Filholm has now changed the stick of his car into a lightsaber handle. And there's some glowing shit. And I mean, right. So, no, I do not get it. But I don't think it's mean at all. But I do love to ask questions like, well, okay, so can a lightsaber cut through could it cut through that? Like, what are the properties? I mean, and the guys at work.
I am very interested to know what things a lightsaber can cut and what things.
Because it's kind of confusing if you ask me. And so I love that. And I love going, okay, so do stormtroopers have... Because you were the one, I think, who told me it was wrong, my Star Wars cupcakes, that the red lightsabers were wrong. You said stormtroopers don't carry lightsabers. And I went, duh fuck. I looked at all these things online, cupcake things, and of course it was wrong. I'm like, unacceptable. So then I went and looked at it, and then some other nerdy guy was like, well, stormtroopers don't, but what are the other ones? But clone troopers do. Or one time when I said, what's the difference between stormtroopers and clone troopers? And I just love Star Wars guys because it is like a surfer talking about waves. They go, well, and then it's like not that simple an answer. I love that. Like right now, I'm loving so much talking about Baby Yoda, which I don't know anything about except I've seen the picture and I've seen the memes. And then I love the guys who go, it's not Baby Yoda. It can't be Baby Yoda because I'm like, okay, is it Yoda's grandson? I love saying about that one, the last movie with Rey, and I love calling her Luke Skywalker's little daughter because it pisses off me. They're like, it's not. I'm like, well,
it's hard to tell with all of that time. Star Wars is hard for me to follow and try to understand all that background stuff because the timeline is so fucked up.
And they do it on purpose. I mean, I think that's the joy of it for people, right? Listen, I actually love people who love a story. I love people. It's a story. It's an epic. I mean, it's an epic story. It's an epic poem for our day and age. It's wonderful. It's a story.
Well,
I love a culture that cares about a story, but I certainly can't get it. I certainly can't pay attention. Don't care enough. But remember the beautiful fashion exhibit?
We went to the art museum and they had all the costumes.
Loved that because it's a world creation. I mean, I respect it.
That's what I like about it. I like the world building.
I do too.
And I think that's one of the reasons I like Harry Potter too. Is
Absolutely.
Because it's different enough but familiar enough that when you're reading those books or you're watching the movies, it feels different and exciting.
Of course, and it's the world, and it's within the world, and for the most part, both of those cases, the world is consistent. The world works, and when there are anomalies, they explain it. I mean, I love that. I respect it. I did read the Harry Potter series with my boys, but I didn't even see all the movies in the end. I do love it. I'm not kidding, and that's the same thing. I remember driving along with my boys talking about the difference or the similarities between Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter, kind of on like that was bubbling up from them. I was not leading a conversation about,
all heroes are the same.
Yes,
and it seems like, especially in more recent works of fiction, they're all orphans.
Yeah, well, they're often, that's not even more recent. That's a known thing, absolutely.
Why is that?
Oh, it's the Bildungsroman. I mean, it's like this coming back to home. It's the epic novel. It's the coming of age story.
Was Odysseus an orphan, or are there famous Greek orphans?
Oh, surely. I don't remember about. No, he had a mom. Oh, but I mean, there's
Mrs.
a lot
Odysseus.
Mrs. Odysseus. No, there's a lot of. Anyway, whatever. But that's right. That's exactly right. You can look at, and that's a fun thing, right? As an English teacher, are you kidding me? That's the fun thing. Look at Rambo and look at Harry Potter. You get similar story. I mean, there are so many similarities in this kind of epic coming of age movie, and then anyway. So I love it all. I support it all. I have a son who loves it all. But I have another son. They both love Harry Potter also. But I do take a certain amount of I find it funny. And I mean, I think it's hilarious to just sit there and talk about which house I might belong to, Hufflepuff or whatever. And I don't really understand the logistics because it's just not my jam. That's just not where I'm going to spend my time, right? Mm-hmm. I go deep down rabbit holes on a lot of other things. No shade to anybody. But I do just find it very funny. that this guy called me out as like, well, my mom doesn't torment me. And I said, is your mom into it? And he said, no. She just enjoys the movie and like enjoys spending time with her grown-ass son. And right. And I was like, that's cute. That's funny. That's what I'm thinking about doing with my boy. And then he's like, yeah, but
with my grown-ass son.
Right. And I said, is it the same? No, she doesn't torment me. And I was like, oh, torment, do you say? I don't see it that way, but then I went, oh, it's kind of tormenty. But no, I mean, I love it. I remember that one movie, I think it's the one with Rey and she's Luke Skywalker's little daughter. And also I can appreciate a lot of the humor in Star Wars, like a lot of the tongue-in-cheek and references. And isn't that, Luke Skywalker came back and Han Solo. Oh my God. I once served a meal to Harrison Ford.
Did you really? That's funny because wasn't he a caterer on the set of something, and Steven Spielberg pulled him in. He said, "You got to be in this movie."
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's how Harrison Ford got his start. He had some kind of.
I was living in Manhattan, and he was in our restaurant where I was working, and everybody was a Twitter. And I remember my friend Jason saying, why am I so like nervous and freaked out and delighted about this guy? We see celebrities all the time. This is on the Upper East Side of New York City. You know what I mean? We see celebrities all the time. Why am I so unnerved by this one? And then later in the day, he goes, I know why. That's Han Solo. Holy cow, right? Oh, no, I do like it. I like it all. But at that one, the last one that I saw, we saw it at Red Rocks, and I kind of tried to pay attention. And there was a line in that movie, and it was funny because I was working where I was working at the time, and I said, oh, I get it. Everything comes down to it was a corrupt data file. My life seems like that's the issue. Cord management and corrupt data files. It's Star Wars. It's real.
Not being able to connect.
Yeah.
That may be your issue.
That's what I'm saying. So Star Wars is real. It's relatable. Okay, that's enough of that, but I do.
I'm surprised you had so much to say about it. I didn't expect that.
I kind of dig it. I kind of love it, but I don't know. I'm never, ever going to understand it. Or like I was saying last night to somebody, what do you mean, what's The Mandalorian? I've been hearing this thing. I don't have the news.
That's a television show, right?
It's a Disney Plus series. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's like a television show.
Which is separate from the Star Wars movie that's coming out.
Correct. And I was even
Christmas
asking, like,
time?
how do you even know it has anything to do with Star Wars? And the guys are just like, but I mean, have you seen the baby Yoda? It's not Yoda. I don't know what it is. Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
God damn it.
How could you avoid it?
Isn't it
everywhere.
Cute?
I suppose
it's so cute.
As cute as a...
guys out there are arguing about whether or not that little baby Yoda can use the Force or not use the Force. And one guy just said, well, he can. He's just too tuckered out. So it's and I don't even know what I'm talking about. And then somebody said, well, it's The Mandalorian. Oh, it's so funny. And he's I don't know. I don't care. I'll watch it. I will watch it. But I don't know what it's all about. I don't have a TV for news. Okay, here's another thing, Andrew. I resolutely do not have a television, and I just realized something.
What?
It is December. This is my first December in the dollhouse. This is my first December without a couch with a TV in front of it somewhere in my house. And I keep saying, when would I ever sit down and watch? Winter is when you do that. So there have been times when I go, I have some mending to do. Or this is where I would be sitting on a couch having a TV on in the back. You know what I mean? Like that might not be, I get it. That's okay. I miss it a tiny little bit. I'm not enough to get one, not enough to pay for TV or get a TV. I don't want it in my house. But it's funny. I just go, there is certainly more compulsion in the winter to sit down and think about like watching a series or something than there is in the summer.
Well, even as long as I've known you, I've never seen you sit down and that couch in front of the TV that you had, I've never seen you use it. And your favorite thing to do, which gives me the willies, is walk around the house with your laptop. You're just holding your laptop and you've got a show playing on the laptop. It's Parks and Rec or it's whatever. It could be out in your clay studio.
Yeah, it's out there, but I'm not carrying it around like that.
You do carry it around.
I don't anymore. Maybe I used to, but I do not.
Your new computer's too fragile.
I guess. I mean, I don't. That's funny because when my kids, like, they pick their computers up like this by the
screen.
And I now, I've become Andrew about that. I don't carry it around. But yes, you're right. I mean, I watch it on my laptop. That's the only screen I have. I don't even have a monitor at this point. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I just know the truth is that I don't very often sit on the couch and watch TV, which is why I don't have one. But I just remembered that last year when I was in my little transitional home, there was a very comfy couch with a TV. And I did sit there once in a while when it was just time to sit there and, like I said, mend a hole in your coat pocket or pay a bill or whatever. There is and I just think, well, since I've lived here, I haven't had any desire for that. I've also been like right now, I can't go out and do yard work. So that, you know what I mean? There's less sort of fun work to do at the dollhouse. I don't know. Doesn't matter, but maybe I'll get a TV someday. I definitely won't.
Speaking of things you're doing, you're not doing yard work because the weather's crummy. What are you doing now that you finished recording your book?
A lot of stuff.
What's the big, most important pressing thing?
Jonah's about to finish my audiobook and get it submitted. So by the time this comes out, we should have a link in the show notes, I should think, about how to get my audiobook. So I did that. I am writing. I am in the process. I am almost about in the process, Andrew, which you will recognize and find very familiar. I'm about to have to clear a wall somewhere. I'm trying to decide what it's going to be for the...
You're going to make a crazy wall?
Yeah.
You're going to get some red yarn and some pins?
Yeah, I got a lot of sticky notes. I invested in a whole tank of sticky notes. We're about to be in sticky note land again because I'm doing some writing.
What are you writing? Can you say?
I know. I wonder how much I want to say. Yeah.
Is it okay? First of all, I know you've ghostwritten things in the past. Is this your work or is it someone else's?
It's still mine. No, it's mine. No. Hopefully Hopefully I'll continue to get little piecemeal jobs like that. I could use some more. So I got writing jobs and a little bit of voiceover work and stuff like that. But no, this is my project. This is what I've been talking about for a long time, and it's at the point my book was probably past the sticky note stages. No, I'm deconstructing my Mama Bear 1 hour and making it a funny hour-long show.
I see. You're not writing a book. You're writing a show.
I'm writing
a play.
I'm writing a script. I'm taking a class. I think I told you. Did we talk about it on the show? I'm taking a comedy class.
I don't think we talked about it on the show.
I'm taking a comedy class in January with a really legendary Denver comic. You've seen her. And she teaches classes, and I was like, this is exactly the right thing. And I told her I want to work. It's kind of a 101 class. And I said, I'm not new. I go out and do this shit 5 nights a week, 4 times a night. And I have been learning and getting better, but she's, of course, yes, she will be happy to take my money and have me come to the class. But also, I mean, it'll be script development for me with live feedback. Yeah, we talked about it last time because we talked about the collaboration. It'll be fun for me. The Yoda lady that I met and told you about in one of our previous episodes, who came out of the woods and encouraged me to keep going, she's going to help me too. I'm writing this thing now. So anyway, I'm on the grind of that, which will mean a lot of things. Anyway, yep. I don't want to talk too much about it because I kind of don't want to jinx things, but we're going in that.
It sounds like there's a lot of forward progress.
There's a lot of
momentum.
forward progress. There
coming out of that book.
Momentum.
You got a lot of momentum.
Feels like momentum. Isn't that funny? It kind of gives me a stomachache when I say that. It's funny. It's a little scary to trust.
Maybe there's so much momentum that you're getting a little motion sick.
Okay. Whew, that's a nice way to say. Hey, did you see my Ludachristmas T-shirt?
No. What's this? Is this on the Instagram?
Well, no, I just put it on my Facebook, but you didn't see that because why would you look at Facebook? I hate Facebook.
No, I've been kicking around the idea of getting off Facebook entirely.
I would love to get off Facebook entirely.
Deactivating my account.
You know what? It is 100% the only way that you can know where anything is happening in Denver comedy, like it or not. And like that's how people came to our show on Tuesday night. It was Facebook ads. I bought one Facebook ad and we got strangers there. That's cool. So I hate it, but Facebook is my reality.
I just opened up my Facebook and I have a friend request from longtime listener Brad Lane. And I'm going to accept it, and then I'm going to deactivate my Facebook account.
Well, check out my Ludachristmas shirt first.
Ludachristmas.
Hilarious. It's my ugly Christmas sweater this year. I'm real proud of it. The number of people who actually get it is few. The number is small. That's okay. I don't care. Okay, what else? Do you have anything else we should talk about?
What else? We talked about your event. We talked about our vacuums. We've talked about Ludachristmas and Festivus.
Happy holiday. We talked about the Blessed Mother and a real religious take on Christmas, pondering it in your heart. We talked about writing. Okay, I had a topic.
What's your topic?
Well, I've had it on our little list for a long time, but it kind of does come into play with this idea of being influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced any significant customer service recently?
Only bad.
Yes.
Only bad customer service. I had to talk to CenturyLink a week ago.
You did?
And they suck. And I feel for them, the people sitting on the other end of that telephone, because I'm sure their job is absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
But I don't think CenturyLink, the company, and the people who are in charge of the people on the phone, I don't think they are even making an attempt to be helpful or user-friendly. In this day and age, why can't I just do everything on the internet by myself? Why do I need to call someone and convince them that I know what I need? And
when I do call them, I know, why does it need to be so unpleasant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one thing. Phone customer service. What about in person? I have just noticed lately,
I don't go anywhere.
The most terrible. I really try not to go anywhere. When I do, suck it up and go places. And just like, okay, I'm going to go to a brick and mortar store to get this thing. Okay, it's going to be fine. I'm going out. I kind of have to steel myself to do that stuff. It's like, okay, today I will go to Best Buy because I need that thing and it's probably the best place to get. Oh my God in heaven. Okay, there are a few times that I go to big box stores. Okay, this is one that I saw. It was actually more like this summer. I've had this on our list to talk about a long time. But I was in the garden section, outdoor home and garden section of a giant box store, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, so many different things like this happen. And I said to I was looking for a hose. Home and garden section seems pretty...
That seems
pretty
like the
normal.
ideal place.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know that these places, they're trying to keep you on their toes. They're rotating for the season.
It's seasonal. I get it.
Maybe they've decided hoses are out this fall.
Well, I'm just still pretty sure that this was like in the summer. This is where the hoses were going to be. And I'm walking up and down the aisle, and there's a guy who works there. And you're right. I mean, I understand it's seasonal. Maybe this display, this new arrangement just happened in the last week or so, because I know it wasn't just last night. But anyway, I'm walking, and I said, hey, I'm looking for hoses. And this guy turned the corner, looked, and said, this seems like where they should be. And I'm like, you work here. Then this summer, same store, I said to this young guy, I said, how do I get that home? It was my patio furniture set for the West Portico. I said, how do I get that home? Like, it won't fit in my car. Do you have delivery service?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I don't know.
Did he just borrow someone's vest or something?
Okay. First of all, he was also a young guy. He was flirting with a girl, and I hardcore cockblocked him. Like, I stepped in the middle to make him do his work, and I was watching this thing happen. And you know how I feel about the young people. Like, God bless you. You should flirt with your people. But I totally was like, I need to know this thing. So I totally blocked him, and he was like, oh, you bitch. I did. And then he literally goes, I don't know. He then said, I think you can get and whatever he said, he meant Postmates. DoorDash. I think you can hire and I went, that doesn't, it's a giant box. I mean, it's going to take a pickup truck. Right.
It's not going to be some guy on his lunch hour with his Prius.
And it's not even someone with the Cube can fit a lot of stuff. It's not even someone with what are they called? SUV, not UTI. So
someone with a UTI might be able to
they
move
might,
it, depending on how hefty they are.
So anyway, so then standing in the store, of course, I went online, ordered the product, and just had it shipped to my house and didn't do the transaction. I mean, there was literally there was a reason to go into the store to see that this is the one I wanted, and yes, it was fine and it fit, and I liked the look of it in real life, right? Mm-hmm. But that whole thing, I mean...
That's a good point. Why pay for delivery when you can get free shipping?
Well, and that might have even been one where there wasn't free
Life
shipping,
hack.
But it was easy. It was $8, whatever. And I went to the guy and I was like, yeah, there's a way to do this. And also, you could do it, buy it in the store, of course, pay $8 to have it delivered. It was just you work here in the giant patio furniture section. This cannot be the first time that somebody has wondered, how do I get something giant?
Total moron.
Total moron it reminded me of those guys in Parks and Rec who play the animal control. Have you ever, do you know? Yeah. So kill all the birds though, right? And they just always those actors are so, Colton Dunn and Harris Whittles. I think Harris Whittles is dead. But those two characters, and those are stand-up and writers, they're so funny. And that kind of thing, you want us to do, that's how it felt. Oh my God, these
Sounds
guys.
kind of Cheech and Chongy.
It's not.
No?
No. But,
it's dumb.
Well, I guess there's a lot of probably weed involved on that level. These kids, I don't know. I mean, I have seen great obstacles. I have seen some things. I have stood in the middle of a store where with people like refusing to make eye contact with me when I clearly just need to ask a question. The level of customer service is really stunning to me. And the interesting thing is that in 2008, when we had the whole economy change in the economy, it got different.
It got better because people wanted to keep their jobs?
Yes, and because I especially remember it around banking. I remember it specifically at that. My bankers are always nice. There's always helpful at the bank. I don't have customer service really issues at the bank. I did have to wait in line at the bank the other day, but that was fine. I know. But I remember actually walking into a Wells Fargo bank and a woman actually was dressed like in pearls and an almost vintagey look saying, welcome, how are you? How can we help you today? And it was like they were practically putting cookies out. I remember saying to a fellow teacher friend of mine, like, wow, brave new banking. They were just like, everything's fine here. Everything's great. Your money is safe with us. It felt very much like they were trying to just make it soothing. And I appreciate that at a bank because I don't like banks. But I guess at that time, and then I think also people were losing their jobs for a while there. And so you had more like, I would notice like older sort of shop clerks. You know what I mean? And male, right, really. And so there was just sort of a level of, I don't know. I don't mean to make this millennial, hey, boomer, but like, holy crap, the level of customer service, even sometimes wait service. I can't believe how bad it has been lately.
It is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. And I told you I don't go anywhere. And
it makes me not want to go places.
Part of it is that. Yeah. It's like, well, if I go to that place, I've got to talk to a person. Probably going to be a shitty person. Probably
have to wait in a line.
Yeah.
Kill me now.
Online, as my friend Mrs. Filholm says.
I often do. New Yorkers say that. I learned it in New York before we had really the intro apps. How about, oh shoot, I just had a thought. Oh, the other night though, I will say this, because now that I've shit on everybody, the other night where they held my event, we'll say it, Irish Rover Pub, 54 South Broadway, Denver, Colorado, one of the coolest, biggest Irish pubs in Colorado. Those people work for a living and they are hard. There was the man who was managing and kind of running our event. His name was Andrew, and my friend Loretta and I agreed we've never met a bad Andrew. It's kind of true.
It's an excellent name.
I'm prone to like, yeah.
If someone is purchasing a Roomba, Andrew would be an excellent name for the Roomba.
Okay, it's still pretty cutesy. Listen, I name everything
pretty cute
for a Roomba. It's like naming it Ferdinand. But Nando is pretty cool.
Nando is awesome.
I didn't feel, I name most everything, and I did not feel compelled to name my room. Funny. Anyway, at that pub, those guys worked so hard, and it was actually the opposite of what I've just been saying. I didn't have to think about a thing, and those guys, it really was like, and they came up to me at the very end and said, okay, so you just go over there to your table where people are going to be buying books, and if they want you to sign them, whatever, you go over there and accept your adoring fans, and we will have everything. Here's the plan. We're going to have it all over here, and the cords will be by the door. And they did a wonderful job of like set up and tear down. And I was so not nervous.
Isn't that nice when it's taken care of?
Yeah, and that's my point. Is that was excellent service, and I'm pretty sure that everybody in the crowd got good service. Wait, did you order? You ordered food. You got good service during that.
She was hustling.
Wasn't she hustling? Those guys hustle.
There's a big room in there, and she was flying around.
And they always do. Monday nights, they have open mic night in that bar. They have it out in the main bar area. Hustling. It's always our bartender, Sam. And it's almost like flying. It's almost like he has wings on his feet because he's hustling. So that's my point. There are plenty of hardworking people out there providing excellent customer service environments. But boy, oh boy, do I get a lot of them that aren't.
And that's frustrating.
It's
just frustrating.
Rocks. It just, especially like you say, when I don't like going out.
A 501c3, there should be a charity for people who have internet problems and need to talk to Comcast.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know it. Oh, golly, I know. I feel like I have some of that coming up in my future, too. Who knows? Okay, anything else?
We complained a little bit about Roombas, and we talked about how service sucks. I feel like we've really done a lot of good this week.
We really have. We help people is what we do, is we help people. Also, follow up, I'm still off the dating apps in case anybody is wondering about that. That's not a joke. That was real.
This time you mean it?
Oh, yeah. We learned our lesson, didn't we? Didn't we? We learned our lesson. That's not for me, Andrew. It's too dangerous.
It's not for you.
It's not for me. It's too dangerous. I think that's enough. I think we
I
brought
think
some
so.
ruckus. It's the holiday season. If it's a short episode, that's a vacation for our listeners.
That's right. I'm so tired today.
Are you? Why?
I just,
What have you been doing?
nothing in comparison to what you do. I stayed up late 3 nights in a row, and it wasn't even that late. I was still in bed before midnight, and I'm just pooped.
You are so
I'm tired.
funny who you have become. Well, okay. What day does this episode come out? I actually have a question for you about my
This
computer.
is, okay, hold on. If you're listening,
What day is today? 5.
the date is going to be
It's coming on the 16th.
the 16th.
Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, Happy Festivus is still relevant, and then there's Christmas and all that ahead. Okay, well, thanks, Andrew. We really brought the ruckus. Bye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Mrs. Filholm.